Hey there traders, and welcome back for episode number 144 from the Stock Bandit. I'm sure glad that you've joined me and hope that you're ready for a good video here. Now in this episode I want to walk you through the way that I use a really common indicator, which is the moving average. Now for me, I like to keep my charts pretty bare. You'll notice I really focus on price and volume. I will draw some trend lines when they're available and when they're necessary, and the only moving average that you'll see on my chart at any time is right here. It's a 21 period moving average of volume, and that's just the 1 month running average of volume that I like to see displayed down here. It makes it real visually easy to notice when volume is heavy and when it's not. A lot of trading 101 type books and articles that you'll run across will refer to moving average crossovers in price, as a slow moving average is crossed by a faster moving average, and that's kind of a more basic signal for buying and selling that you'll tend to find out there. But for me personally, I have never found that that has actually worked. In fact, the only time that I really want to use a moving average of price is when I need some kind of a gauge for when I can get on board a stock that's already trending, and that's the key. It's got to already be trending. You find a stock that's not really trending, something that's range bound, and that moving average is going to get crossed back and forth over and over by price, and it really becomes quite meaningless. And what it does is clutter your price pane of your chart window, and that's not anything that we want as a trader. So I want to walk you through how I will occasionally apply a moving average and how I'll use that to generate trades. Now taking a look at CAGC, this is Friday afternoon. I'm actually recording this ahead of the weekend, and here's a stock that earlier this year channeled and trended lower here after topping back here in March. And the stock created a very nice clean downward channel from there. Then it kind of leveled out, and this correction phase kind of came to an end. The stock did make new lows right there in early July, but all in all, the stock had really stabilized here and found kind of this low level trading range. Well, more recently, price has begun trending higher again. So as traders, we can do a couple of things. We can try and draw a trend line here, but it hasn't been touched lately, and it's that's one way to approach it. However, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, and I want to show you one other kind of key that you can use occasionally, and this doesn't have to apply to this particular stock symbol. I just want to use this as an example for this video. I'm going to go ahead and add a moving average to my chart, and I'm going to add it up here to price history. And so it might default to something like a 30 period moving average. Well, when you start talking moving averages with traders, everyone tends to have their own favorite period. Okay, so for example, down here in the lower window, I like the 21 period because that's about how many trading days there are in a given month. So I like the 1 month moving average of volume. Nothing magical, just kind of over the past several weeks, how has volume been? Up here, what I tend to do in terms of price when I add a moving average, there's never a common period here that I'm going to utilize for my moving average. This one might default to something like 30, and that's okay for a start, but what I want to do is start tinkering with this value here to see how price treats that moving average at different levels. So I'm going to start dropping it down to where it's a little bit faster moving average. Don't say that 3 times fast, but we're starting to get to where price is starting to respect this moving average a little bit more in recent weeks, and we're seeing that price comes down near or to that level and then has been bouncing. So what I'll do is kind of fiddle with this moving average a little bit. I want to see that price is being respected, and right about here, we'll call it the 12 period moving average. Again, nothing magical whatsoever about that number. Simply, it's a value that this particular stock has been respecting multiple times in recent weeks, and that's what I want to see. So I never want to get married to a particular value here when it comes to the moving average period. I want to find a value that whatever stock symbol I'm taking a look at is really respecting. So in this case, it's the 12. And so what I can do here is start looking for opportunities to get long this stock. Here's a stock that's been trending higher. It's not got a real well-defined pattern. It doesn't have a real well-defined breakout zone. I mean, I could take it through the highs, but recently, here's a trade right here where the stock just cleared the prior high, and it just barely popped through there, and then it came right back. So this is probably a stock that's acting better more recently for one that's maybe buyable on dips. So what I'm probably going to look to do is, in a situation like this, look for price to possibly move back toward this moving average. Doesn't necessarily have to touch it, but somewhere to where it's closer to it. Then I might initiate a long trade there and look to stop out on a good hard break below that moving average. So whenever you're running across stocks that are during the trend, throw that moving average on there, fiddle with the value for it, and see if it offers you some trading opportunities. It might not. You might have to wait for price to come back down and give you a better opportunity, but it might prevent you from chasing a stock that's already run a long way, and help you have a more well-defined entry and exit plan. And that, for us as traders, that's what we've got to have: well-defined entries and exits, some kind of a solid plan to operate on, so that we're not trying to make decisions in the thick of the tape moving. And so thanks for joining me for this episode. I will be back soon with more trading videos, but in the meantime, trade like a bandit.